Hello everyone, hello. Remember how I tried my hand at making like raid guides for Destiny? This video has absolutely nothing to do with Destiny, but everything to do with how I am a huge freaking nerd. I love stories. Stories that have interesting characters, big momentous occasions, but also the not so big momentous occasions. Stories that can be found in things like Warhammer, Destiny, Lord of the Rings, FromSoft games, and the like, you know what I mean. And I also really like talking about these stories with other people. Just ask my wife. She gets to hear me geek out all the time about all these things I'm into, and she absolutely loves it. Now, I know there is an overabundance and oversaturation of person on internet talks about insert fantasy story setting here on YouTube. I don't care. I'm making this video because I enjoy talking about this stuff, and you just have to deal with it, Buster. I'm also very much expecting to get people that know way more than me and have studied this more than me and can hopefully help correct me where I'm wrong and be very kind about it because I'm a very gentle soul. Oh, and if you see my body clip out of my green screen, it's because my green screen is small. I'm in a storage room and I don't have a lot of space. So bear with me. Okay, but enough preamble, let's have fun. So, this subject is a big one. It's probably one of the most well-beloved IPs there is ever. The first book came out in 1954. The entire trilogy has most definitely the best book to movie adaptation ever made. I will fight you on that. If you can't tell by now, it's Lord of the Rings. Actually, that's a lie. We're talking about the Silmarillion. Get baited. But then after I talk about the Silmarillion, I will talk about things that tie into the Lord of the Rings story as a whole, I guess, so stick around until then. So for those who don't know, the Silmarillion is a prequel to the events that happened within The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogy. The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogy take place in the Third Age of Middle-earth, and then the Silmarillion takes place in the First Age, quite literally the beginning of all things Tolkien. In the beginning, there was nothing, empty space, the void. And this guy, Eru, also known as Iluvatar, the One, he who is alone. For this video, I'm going to refer to him as Big E. No, not that Big E. Now, Big E was alone in the cosmic universe of all things, and all he wanted to do was just listen to some music, but sadly, Spotify wasn't a thing yet. So he quite literally thought into existence other beings that he named the Ainur, Ainu for singular. He then gave unto each of them themes of music. Think of it as that Ari guy from Instagram that just goes around handing people a microphone while he makes beats for them on the street.
Were you trying to get on next?
Niggas, they trapping again. What? I was just trapping and holding my niggas, they back and they're rolling again.
So for a long while, only a few of the Ainur would sing. Most of the time they would sing solo, some would just listen. Eventually, Big E gathers all of the Ainur together and shows unto them a most beautiful theme. Something so beautiful and grand and amazing that they grow exponentially in their understanding and knowledge of their god and were completely confounded. They're flabbergasted. After Big E showed him this, he desired that they all would sing together, and with their own power and devices and knowledge they could add to this theme to make it greater and stronger, i.e. to make a great music. All of the Ainur sang so beautifully and so powerfully that it overflowed the house of Big E, the Timeless Halls, so much so that it overflowed out into the void, making the void just a little less empty. And during this, Big E just sat and listened and soaked it all in. But gradually, an Ainu named Melkor got it into his silly little head to try and change the theme up a little bit. Now, Melkor was already among all of the different Ainur the strongest of all of them. He had a share of all the talents and abilities of each Ainur, and yet he still wanted more. His ambition is what drove him to seek more, to gain more, to have more than others, and to change this theme so that it could benefit him greater. So he started to weave his own thoughts and desires. He started to sing his own theme And from there, discord happened. There was chaos. Some Ainur completely stopped singing altogether because they were sad, because it sounded so hideous. Others gradually started to sing along with him to make it louder. And from there, chaos grew even more. Other Ainur stopped singing, others joined in. And yeah, I am implying that Melkor, the greatest of the Ainur, and also a little spoiler alert, the first Dark Lord, was a Nickelback fan. So the discord continues to grow and grow until the original theme is almost nigh unintelligible. It is so loud, this new theme, that everything around is just cacophony and craziness. So Big E stands up and pulls a Terrence Fletcher. Except he's not as psychotic as Fletcher and starts slapping Melkor for doing what he's doing. Instead, he smiles, ? And raises his left hand. And right away, a new theme begins to play. It is similar to the old theme, but also expands upon it. Beautiful in its own way, but definitely pays homage to the original theme. And it grows amid this storm of sound that is happening in power and in volume. Not so much that it completely drowns out Melkor's new theme, but it contends with it, and they stay kind of even. You could say there was a war of sound. Now it got so tumultuous and so violent that many of the Ainur became sad boys and just stopped singing altogether. Meanwhile, Melkor continues to push his overplayed, hideous, redundant tune until Big E stands up again, and this time he was a bit more like Terrence Fletcher because he was angry. Sadly, he didn't throw any chairs at anybody, but he did raise his right hand, and immediately another new theme began to play. Now this new theme was soft and gentle, but it still could not be overtaken by the loudness and contention of Melkor's theme. And just like before, it didn't seek to overtake Melkor's theme. Soft and subtle and beautiful, but also had a great sorrow blended in with it. The other, Melkor's, had also grown, but it was just loud, there wasn't a lot of unity, and it was just repeated over and over and over again, and it was so annoying that everyone memed on it for centuries to come. And together, these two themes were so loud and so powerful that they as well overflowed the timeless halls and burst forth out into the silence of the void. Now this went on for a time until Big E stood up again, and he was looking very angry. And raising both of his hands, the music ceased and there was silence. From this war of music, Arda, Earth, was created, and on it life was brought forth. And there are two specific lives that I wish to speak about today. Now these two characters are intriguing, yes, very intriguing indeed. Ungoliant and Tom Bombadil. I know that much debate has gone into these two and their purpose in Middle-earth and why they were created and where they came from. I just kind of want to give my 2 cents. Not too long ago, I read some Reddit comment that sparked this whole line of thinking. It's not too deep. I'm sure there's better. And these two characters are just so interesting to me because there is so much mystery surrounding them that you can kind of use your own interpretation and what you think their purpose was. That's what makes it more fun for me, hopefully for you as well. So first, let's talk about that big, ugly spider called Ungoliant. I say spider because she wasn't truly a spider. In the books, it says she takes the form of a spider, which is why we get fan art and artwork like this.
Oh my goodness!
Her origins are wholly unknown. Even the characters within and who were at the beginning of time don't really know where she came from. Some people now speculate that she was an Ainur that was corrupted by Melkor and his desires, but there is no recording of her as a known Ainur before. Others think she was some spiritual entity or whatever, I don't know, already in the void and came to Arda after its creation. My thought is that during this war of music that happened between Melkor and Big E, and all that contention and all that uncertainty, I guess, Ungoliant was created through that. More so through Melkor's sad and bad music. And Melkor's greed to spin webs. Eat your heart out. just like Ungoliant. Am I right, nerds? Spin this theme into something that he wanted that would benefit him greater. And also through the power of the others that joined in his song, they unknowingly created Ungoliant. Ungoliant is described as always being hungry. She could consume darn near everything. So much so that she can consume the light and spin that into dark webs, which is where she gets one of her names, the Gloomweaver, which is such a sick-ass name. And I think she gained this insatiable hunger from Melkor's ambition for more. When he wove into that song his own ambitions, it created something that took on his greed and his desire for more knowledge, more power, more than what others had. And this gluttony was the eventual undoing of Ungoliant, much like Melkor's over-ambition and greed. So, what do we think, lore nerds, if any of you are still around? Am I completely off base? Am I onto something? Am I spouting stuff that has just been talked about to death already many times before? You tell me. So now, along this same line of thinking for Ungoliant, we can apply the same to Tom Bombadil, except he was created on the more, good music side. I think those Ainur who, for the love of the game, just kept singing Big E's theme, unknowingly also created Tom Bombadil, a being who just wants to chill and sing songs with his hot wife. He's a man so unbothered by the goings-on of Middle-earth that not even Gandalf, who he himself says is a good friend to Tom Bombadil, doesn't really know why he's there and why he exists. Tom shows up fairly early in the Fellowship of the Ring and saves the hobbits from a mean old tree and then just takes them to his house and they party up for up to 3 days. Tom is such an enigma because while they're at his house, he asks Frodo about the ring he has and if he can see it. And Frodo gives him the ring willingly, I might add. Powers of the ring are nullified a bit, I guess, in Tom's realm. And while Tom is holding this ring and looking at it, homeboy puts it on and doesn't disappear. The hobbits can see him wearing the ring and they're all just kind of like, bro. He then takes off the ring, tosses it in the air, in a flash makes it disappear, and the hobbits are just like, what's happening? What? And then the ring reappears in his hand and he's just laughing and he's like, oh, here you go, Frodo, it's a cool ring. The freak? The dude is the definition of this meme. Or this one. So basically, all that rambling just to say that I think Ungoliant and Tom Bombadil, two characters that have a lot of unknown origin and mystery and purpose around them, were created during this war of music between Melkor and Big E. Like I said, I could be totally wrong. This could have been talked about so many more times and debunked or proven true. I don't know. Just, I hope you enjoyed it. Expect more videos about stuff that I enjoy. There's probably not going to be much cohesion about it, but they'll be there, so look out for more. Love you. Bye. Oh, and like and subscribe.